My next guest is going to be making his UFC debut this Saturday against Michael Gillmore. It is Andre Petroski joining me here on the program. Andre, how's it going, man?
Everything's going well, for sure.
That's good to hear, man. Obviously, a big moment. You went through the Ultimate Fighter. You're on the finale. I got to know, when did you find out you actually had, were going to be on this UFC card and making your debut?
I think it was like either 10 or 11 days out. So it was probably like the 17th, I think.
Nice.
And I was in Acme, and Mick Maynard called him and was like, "Hey, it's Mick Maynard. Can you make weight next week?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely." And then I hung up and I was like, "That's weird, man. I think that was a prank phone call." I'm like, why didn't he call my manager? One, two, why is it like a random number from Texas? Well, I mean, I guess he's from Texas, or he was down there at the time. And it was just funny. I don't know.
Interesting.
It was not a prank phone call after all.
And I was curious too, when you lost on the show, was there any indication of, guys getting on the finale? Because you never know. Some seasons they do it, some seasons they don't. Did you get any inkling that this would be a possibility of you, competing in the UFC?
So a lot of the producers basically said to me, like, don't worry. After I lost, they're like, don't worry, you'll definitely be on the finale. And it was like, I kind of just like took their word for it. But when I saw that they announced that the finale was on 28th, and then I saw the card already had 14 fights on it, I kind of knew that that was definitely a bad sign. So we were kind of, and then my manager kind of agreed, and then we were kind of looking at other options. And then when they called, obviously I was excited,
No, I bet. What was that like, though? You find out this news, you can't tell anyone, right? Because I'm sure you had to keep it top secret before they announced it.
Yeah. I still told everyone.
There you go.
I mean, I didn't like post nothing, but
yeah.
Well,
you have to, right? Because there's logistics. I'm sure people,
Yeah.
like people want to come and see it, right? Like I know it's not a huge, obviously there's the limited capacity, but still.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Now, were you surprised to fight Michael as far as an opponent? Because obviously he lost in the quarterfinals. I know there's that whole story about him, quitting his job and coming on the show. When you found out you'd be fighting him, was that a bit of a surprise?
Yeah, I thought at the time I didn't know that Trayshawn was hurt and pulled out. So I thought that they were going to match me up with Urbina. So then when I heard that Trayshawn was out, I was like, yo, put my name in or whatever. But at that point, they had already, matched me up with Gillmore. That's what they wanted.
Gotcha. So how do you feel like you match up against him? He's got, 6-3 record. He was on the show. How do you look at this fight from a style perspective?
I just think that it's tailor-made for me. I think that, just the fact that, he's been submitted 3 or 4 times and I have mostly all submissions is a good sign,
What type of training camp have you had leading into this? Who you had a chance to work with?
Well, I was training with Sean a lot, but then he got got into the ligaments of his ankle. So he's been out for the past, couple weeks. But Jeremiah Wells, Manny Morales, we got tough guys for sure.
Yeah. How is Sean doing? I know I was literally like trying to set an interview up with him. And then obviously the news broke about him being, he would have fought this weekend, right? So it's crazy how that all works out because you would have fought on the same card as him.
Yeah. And our other teammate is fighting as well, Pat Sabatini.
That's right. Fighting Jamal Emmers. Yeah.
Yeah. So we would have had 3 of us out there, but Sean got hurt. He's good. He was at practice today. He's not able to do anything yet. He still has I don't know if once we say he still has the PIC line in, for the antibiotics, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
So, he wasn't doing anything, but he came today.
That's good. A little moral support, which is good, big fight like this. How much has he elevated your game? We've seen the success on the regional scene with him, and that's translated into the UFC. Like he got this big opportunity against Kevin. I'm sure he'll get another one again, but still, what's it like getting to train with a guy like that all the time?
Yeah. I've been everywhere. I went to Top Team. I went to Stanford. I went to Factory X in Denver. I've been all over, and I have yet to feel a grappler like that. Craig Jones and Henner were definitely very good grapplers, but definitely still like a different style.
I imagine you got the phone call. Mix, are you on weight? I imagine weight cut's going well. If you feel like you're going to make weight for this one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't cut much weight. Honestly, I could probably make 70 if I like really buckled down, and did everything right. But nah, I'm good. My weight's fine.
Yeah, just keep it at this weight class, and then maybe down the line, maybe look at going down to 170. I guess if all goes well, I guess if you're winning, you might as well just keep in the same weight class, right?
Right. Yeah. So that was like my thing. It was like, why cut the weight if I'm doing really well?
Yeah.
If I'm fit, everyone, why would I cut down? But I think if there was an opportunity that I couldn't say no to, I think that I would do it.
There you go. Who's going to be making the trip with you? Who will be in your corner?
So we got Daniel Gracie, John Marquez, Mike Campbell, and my teammate Manny Morales.
Awesome.
And Eric Purcell's coming as well with Pat.
How's this fight playing out on Saturday? I know you feel like you're going to get your hand raised, but how do you envision it playing out?
I think that we're going to stand up for a little while, and I think I'll touch him a few times. And I mean, I would love to get the finish on the feet, but I think once it goes to the ground, I think that I have an overwhelming advantage.
I know we're
sorry, first, second round finish is my prediction.
There you go. We'll mark it down. I know, again, this is all coming together pretty quickly with you fighting and all that. Would you like to get one more in this year? Is that kind of what you're looking at if you come into this unscathed and get one more in? Or are you more looking towards next year, regardless of how this fight goes?
Yeah, I want to fight as often as possible. That's one advantage of me being at 185 is I can make weight in a week. So, call me in a week. I'm ready to go. Like, this is how I make a living. This is how I pay the bills. I have a healthy appetite for, the luxuries of life. And I want to fight as often and make as much money as possible.
How was the overall experience for you on The Ultimate Fighter? Is it something you feel like you do again?
I don't know if I would do it again. If I was in the same situation, I would do it again. I'm not going to go back on the show now, but yeah, I personally, I do very well with that type of structure where it's like, there's no decisions to be made. It's just like you show up and you just do the work and you just get better. I do really well with structure. So yeah, no distractions, just focusing on getting better every day. That's and the opportunity to roll with those guys. I loved everyone. Honestly, I liked a lot of the guys on the show too. I got close with a couple guys, but the coaches were tremendous. Henry Gracie would give me like 2-hour privates, like 3-4 days a week. So I learned a lot for sure.
That's good. Who are you really close with? Who do you see yourself keeping in touch with after the show's been wrapped up?
I still talk to Trayshawn here and there. We were roommates. He's doing well. He's got to get knee surgery or whatever, but his spirits are still high. And then Dan Argetta from Jackson Winks. He was my buddy, 35-pounder, and Josh Reddinghouse from Spokane, and Vince Murdoch from Team Alpha Male. That was like our group. We were like the front row group in the van.
And what was it like kind of sitting back and seeing the coaches go at it? Because I know they do a lot of editing, but it did really seem like they didn't like each other. That must have been kind of neat for you guys to watch that all unfold.
Yeah. I mean, they got to fight for sure. I could tell kind of like, I don't know. You can see it pick up a little bit more like towards like the end of the show. Like in the beginning, it was kind of just like they didn't really care to like, neither one kind of pissed each other off. And then you could see like as the show developed, they started getting on each other's nerves a little bit more, which was kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, I bet. What did you miss the most when you were in the house? What
my daughter.
The one thing. Are you dog? Yeah.
My daughter, yeah.
Oh, daughter. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. No, that must have been tough. So
she acts
what was that like seeing her right after the show wrapped up?
There's a scene in the show where like they let us FaceTime home, and I like see my daughter, whatever, she sees me, and I'm like, hey, she's like, daddy, blah blah blah, and then she puts her arms out for like me to pick her up. That was tough for sure. She was like, daddy, pick me up, and they show it on the show, and I'm like, I'll be home soon. What else is there to say?
Any TV shows or video games you miss out on while you were there that you got back into when you got back?
Nah, I don't really care about that shit. I watch fighting. I live for fighting. I love not having a phone with no distractions. If there's one thing, honestly, that I missed the most, it was music. Because they wouldn't let us have any music in the house because they couldn't be in the background with the audio. But yeah, just like music was like, it's crazy, like getting on the treadmill every day without music. It's crazy.
Oh, I
like
bet that'd suck. Yeah.
cooking dinner, you always got music when you're cooking dinner, and then like you got nothing.
There you go. Andre, thanks so much for doing this, man. We're excited for your debut. It's going to be this Saturday, UFC Vegas 35. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, special shout out to America's Pie, Pizza Shop in Westchester. They helped pay for my second coach's flight so that he could come out and corner me as well. So yeah, check them out. Pizza Shop in Westchester, America's Pie.